Welcome back again to Back to Basics series where we are looking at the Torah, and now we want to look at the characteristics of the Torah. We are continuing this. We are going to cover a lot of aspects of the Torah so that it may become very clear to us what is expected of us. I believe the proper understanding of the Torah of Yah and the restoration of that Torah in our worship is our present truth in this particular juncture. First, we need to get our terminology right. Only when we understand the original word meaning can we be able to build a true doctrine. The word law in KJV mostly refers to the Torah 84:51, Hebrews 84:51 in Strong's Concordance, and is found at least 205 times in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament the same word Torah is nomos, which is the Greek version of 3551, and it is found at least 189 times as law. That's very key to understand that, because when the translators translated the scriptures, they put their own words, and by putting their own words, they buried a lot of meaning of the original meaning of the words that were there. So that's very key for us to understand, and when we are doing our studies, we need to go back to the original meaning of the word. And when we have gone back there, we will then get the correct understanding. We also must understand the culture, the setting, so that we can get the correct understanding of the scripture. Because sometimes English language or Greek or whatever of these languages that scriptures were translated to, they cannot bring out the meaning as it was intended from the Hebrew. So it's the same with this word Torah or law. When most Christians look at the word law, in their minds what they think about is the 10 Commandments. Nothing can be further from the truth than that. Because the word law is mostly the Pentateuch, or the first 5 books which are referred to as the Torah. Therefore, the word law is Torah, meaning the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of Moshe. Friends, the word law is not limited to the 10 Commandments, but inclusive of everything written in the Torah, the Pentateuch, from Bereshit to Devarim. We must get this right in order to have the proper understanding of the structure of the Torah. So what exactly do you mean the law? Okay, the Hebrew word Torah, it means direction, it means instruction, path, regulation, law. Nomos, it means rule, principle, law. Nomos is always translated to mean Torah. The law, which should be rightly called the Torah, is found in the first 5 books of the Tanakh, or is the first 5 books of Moshe themselves in their entirety. The Torah is divided into 2 parts, being the book of the covenant, the book of the law, which includes the ceremonial law dealing with the sacrifices and offering related to the sacrifices. That's very key to grasp, especially when you are going to be able to rightly divide the word of truth. It's very key to note these structures, but we are going to deal with them. We're going to deal with them as we proceed with the study. So Torah has been, as I said, has been mistranslated as law. The very word Torah, often mistranslated as law, comes from the Abari or Hebrew root Yad Resh Hey. Yad Rash Hai. Yad Rash Hai. So the word becomes Yara. Yara. I'm pronouncing it the Bantu way. I don't know, other languages might pronounce it with the ha ha, you know, those gutturals. But the meaning of yara is instruction or teaching, right? Torah means instructions, but is arguably mistranslated as law instead of instructions, directions in English versions of the Old Testament. So when you say law, it sounds like something that is supposed to be exerting on you, you know, like, you know, when you think of the law says this, the law says that. But that's not the spirit with which the Torah was given. The Torah was given as an instruction book, as a guide, as a directive unto life. The Torah is meant to protect you. It is meant to give you peace. It is meant to give love. That's what the Torah is meant to. Properly followed in the right spirit, the Torah is not a burden to anyone, but rather it is freedom. So too often throughout history, the word Torah has been translated as law when it should actually be translated as instruction. The Torah is Elohim's instructions to the world. That's how he wants us to conduct ourselves, to live our lives. So the Torah of Yahweh is made up of 5 books. That's Deuteronomy, Numbers, Leviticus, Exodus, Genesis, or you can say Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Or you can, as I say, Barashit, Shemoth, Waikarara, Bemidbar, and Devarim. So Devarim will be Deuteronomy, Bemidbar will be Numbers, Waikarara or Waikra will be Leviticus, Shemoth is Exodus, Barashit is Genesis. So these are the words that we are going to be using often in our studies, because I believe in going back to the original wording, original truth, because that has got the meaning. Quite often when you look at the translated names, they do not portray the meaning of the scripture or the intended meaning of that scripture by the author, because you see, it's important to go by what the author has given, because he is the one who knows what he wants to give out there. But when we translate and give our names, then it may become a problem, because we end up not portraying the chief things that the author of the book wants to portray. So like you have Exodus there, the intended meaning was the name of Yahweh as a sign for his people, Shemot, right? But then the main thing that is brought to view is the Exodus, whereas the main thing Yahweh wanted to bring to the fore is his name, his worship, you know, his Torah. That's what he wanted to bring out to the open, because it is in this book that the book of the covenant is actually named, right? So it is about his name. It is about his worship. When we talk about name in the Hebrew, we're not just talking about the literal article of identification, as we've covered in the name, in the restoration of the name, but we're also talking about the character of the individual. Names in Hebrew, as they are in Bantu, have got meanings. We give names to our children because of the aspirations, because of the story that we've lived, or because of the aspirations that we hope for in life. So the same with the Hebrew. Hebrew gives names of the character of the person. Leviticus is now promoting the Levitical priesthood, whereas the theme of the book is Yahweh calling out to his people for an appointment, calling out his people to worship, calling out his people to get back to righteousness. That's the theme there, right? So we need to get the names in their original text so that we can understand the story of each book, each of those 5 books. So what exactly do you mean by Torah? What do we mean by Torah? The following are various verses from the scriptures, specifically the Old Testament, that speak of the law. I want to prove from scripture that when the scriptures are saying law, they're actually referring to Hebrew 84:51, which is the Torah. So this Strong's Concordance will always be there where the word law is, and to show that what the writers meant by law, in actual fact, they were referring to Hebrew 84:51, which is Torah. Now, these are the verses that I just want to quickly read for you so that you may see what I'm saying. So the verse we've read to the King James Version says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. But that word law again is 84:51, which is Torah. So when you read, say, this verse, Yeshayahu or Isaiah 8 verse 20, I'll read it this way. The first version will say, to the Torah and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Then the one that is rendered in the original KJV, not the one with, because there's already a KJV with set apart names, right? But this one is the one that is original with the pagan names. It will say, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Wow. That gives a whole new meaning to that verse, which is different. What can we deduce? Because when you say to the Torah now, you are now saying the first 5 books, to the first 5 books, huh? And to the testimony. Actually, the testimony, the testimony is the if you like, is what you might call the commandments, right? Which testify against us, right? Some people think that the testimony is only the word of the prophets. No, not really, not necessarily. Go read again the verses in Psalms 119. You will see that when the psalmist is referring to the testimony, he's referring to the first 5 books themselves. So when you say to the Torah, it brings out a whole different meaning than when you say to the law. Because the mind that is reading that, when he thinks about the law, he thinks about the 10 commandments. But when you say the Torah, then it brings out a whole different meaning altogether of that verse. Because now we are looking from Bereshit to Devarim, from Genesis to Deuteronomy. So that brings another dimension to the verse. When we read Nehemiah 9 verse 18, it says, thou comest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments. So observation is that the law or the laws are true, right? The laws that Yahweh gave, those are true laws, right? That's the observation you get from that text. Then the judgments are also right. The statutes and the commandments are good. But that word law or laws is still 84:51, Hebrew 84:51, which refers to the Torah. That is the first 5 books, right? So I want us to understand that when the scripture says law, in all these places, it is actually referring to the Torah, which is the first 5 books of Masha. Psalms 19 verse 7, we've read that verse before. It says to the law, which is 84:51 of Yahweh. It says the law, 84:51 of Yahweh is perfect, which is supposed to be the law of Yahweh is perfect, or the Torah of Yahweh is perfect. Converting the soul, the testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. So you can see kind of a parallelism there, where the Torah and the testimony kind of are being paralleled against each other, right? Which is the same thing, right? The same thing, the testimony and the Torah are the same thing, right? The observation, the law is perfect. It is the law 84:51 of Yahweh. This is the Torah, not just the 10 commandments. So the Torah, the first 5 books, is considered to be what? To be perfect. Telechim 19 verse 17. Did we read that? Yes, we read that. The Torah of Yahweh is perfect. Bring back the being. The witness of Yahweh is trustworthy. Make him wise, simple. Verse 8. The orders of Yahweh are straight. Right? So you see, the orders of Yahweh are straight. This is ordering your life, right? This is ordering your life, putting your life together in the right way. Rejoicing the heart. The command of Yahweh is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, standing forever. The right rulings of Yahweh are true. They are righteous altogether. So this is the description. This is the character of the Torah. We can't get anything better than that. We can't get anything better than that. Now, Psalms 40, verse 8, the psalmist says, the Torah or the Torah is in the heart. Is the law 84:51 is in the heart. It reads like this. Psalms 40 verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my Elohim. Yea, thy law is within my heart. In other words, thy Torah is within my heart. Now, how do you keep the Torah within the heart besides meditating upon it, reading it, right? Listening to it, taking time to understand it. When you do that, then the Torah becomes part of you and it is kept inside you. And the observation that I get that the law is to be kept within one's heart. This is Elohim's will and should be our delight. So when it is in the heart, instinctively we live what is in the heart, right? That's why later on Jeremiah says, I'll put my laws in their heart, which means we will have failed to put the law into the heart. And Yahweh, by the miracle of the life of his son, is going to put the Torah in our hearts. Maybe I should just read that verse. It's very encouraging. I find it very encouraging. Jeremiah chapter 31. All right, let me go to Jeremiah chapter 31 and then see. It's also in Hebrews. That same passage, you find it in Hebrews. Right, 33, I think, should be the verse. Let me start from verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashua and the house of Yehuda, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mizraim, which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I'll make with the house of Yashua. After those days, saith Yahweh, I'll put my Torah in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. So that's a miraculous transaction. That is a gift that is given to us after we have shown that we want the gift. Because this gift is not going to be imposed on anyone, but we must ask for it and hunt for it like gold. And when we do that and show the desire that we have, a strong desire to have it, then Yahweh will certainly do that. He will write that Torah on our hearts. And verse 34 says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So the setting is right at the end, where restoration has taken place. That is why this verse is incorporated in the book of Hebrews. Probably it might be good for us to find it in the book of Hebrews, so that those New Testament only people might realize that it's not about the New Testament only. Everything that is in the New Testament is actually found in the Old Testament, and it's in Hebrews chapter 10, I think. Let me read that. Hebrews chapter 10. Right. This is the covenant that I'll make with them after those days. Maybe you might want to read it from the top there. Talking about Melchizedek, the priest, right? And then, wherefore the set-apart spirit also is a witness to us. Verse 15. For after that he had said before, this is the covenant that I'll make with them after those days, said Yahweh. I'll put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Now, where remission of these is there is no more offering for sin. So there is another passage again, I think, in the book of Hebrews that talks to that as well. It's quite a powerful message that is repeated in Scripture to show that Yahweh has got an objective to make us righteous, so that when we can only be righteous when he has printed his Torah on the tablets of our hearts. That's what Yahweh wants to do. All right. That's the passage that I was just reading there, right? I've read Hebrews, Jeremiah 31 and Hebrews chapter 10. So when Yahweh's laws are written in the heart, it is no longer simply an external standard of righteousness, but an instinctive action actuated from the heart. You know, like what we were reading when Yahweh Shai was actually amplifying the Torah. So this is a heart issue. It's no longer just the mechanical, the physical that we look at. We're going beyond looking at the action done in the flesh, but we are looking now at the spirit behind the action. So this is now a heart issue. It's an instinctive thing. So the standard of righteousness becomes an instinctive thing, and it's actuated from the heart. Where they were supposed to be natural sinners, they become natural righteous people. That's what Yahweh wants us to be. They have adopted the Mashiach's nature. Their righteousness is not robotic, but their intellect is aware of what they are doing. They are cognizant of their Father's righteous standards. That is his Torah. Don't you want to be like that? That's my prayer all day. That's my prayer, that I want to live the life of my Master, Yahweh Shai. I want to live the life of my Father, my Maker, so that I can be his son when I live his life. It is something else to live another life and hope that I can have peace and joy in the kingdom of my Father. It's not possible. It's not possible. Proverbs 29 verse 18, it says the Torah brings happiness. The Torah brings happiness. So 29 verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the Torah, happy is he. So my observation here will be, obeying the Torah brings about happiness. There's no one who can contest with that. There's no one who can contest with that. Because indeed it is true that when we obey the Torah, we will all be happy. There's peace of mind, and there's no one who will be afraid of anything. Yahweh brings joy to the heart. Let's just have a look at some of the attributes of the Torah. And then when we see and understand these attributes, certainly no one can come up and say, this is going to be nailed on the stake or nailed on the cross of the Christians. No. It's not going to work like that. Especially when you understand the character of the Torah, the characteristics. That's what we are looking at. We saw that Nehemiah says the Torah is true, and And we read that from Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 18. That's the characteristic of the Torah. It is true. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai and spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws and good statutes and commandments. So the Torah is truth. The Torah is true, and then the Torah is truth. Psalms 119, 142. It says, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy Torah is the truth. So you can't honestly do away with that which is truthful. I mean, it was truthful that time. Do you think it has changed its nature of being truthful? No, most certainly not. So it has got a right to endure forever. The Torah is light. Proverbs 6:23, we read that verse again. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law or the law, according to King James Version, or the Torah is light, and the reproofs of instructions are the way of life. So without reproofs of instruction, life is lived in any way that you want, and that does not bring joy. Right? And that same Torah says that Torah itself is life. The Torah of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. This is what Solomon, one of the wisest men ever to live, in Proverbs 13 verse 14, he says the Torah is a fountain of life. The Torah is a fountain of life. And then in Psalms 119, 165, it says the Torah is peace. 165 reads like this: great peace have they which love thy Torah, and nothing shall offend them. Do you hear that? So when you love the Torah, when you live according to the Torah, you have great peace. The Torah is perfect. The Torah of Yahweh is perfect. We read that verse. Converting the soul and testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. Psalms 19 verse 7. So something that is perfect, beloved, does not cease its perfection because of the cross or because of the stake. If anything, the perfection is guaranteed by the stake, by the so-called cross. So that's what we should have understood, that the death of Messiah is actually guaranteeing that which he gave to be the standard of living. He did not die so that that standard could be done away with. Because what was easier? Was it not easier just to say, no, let's do away with this, than to first die? What is the reason for dying? Dying on the stake was guaranteeing the enduring power of the Torah. It was guaranteeing the permanence of the Torah. It was guaranteeing the long-lastingness of the Torah. So we can't take the death on the stake as a way of doing away with the Torah. That would be a clearly misunderstanding of the text, misunderstanding of the scripture, having no spirit of Yahweh to reveal knowledge and understanding. But when you have knowledge and understanding, you will then see that Yahweh had to safeguard, had to make sure that the Torah is made permanent. So by the death of his son, he allowed the death so that it can guarantee the permanence of the Torah. So the Torah is wisdom. Proverbs 28 verse 7. Whoso keepeth the Torah is a wise son, but he that is a companion of righteous men shameth his father. So keeping the Torah makes you wise. I often tell my children that you must actually read the Torah back to back. And when you do that, you actually become wiser. And you can even perform far much better in school than when you are not reading the Torah. Reading the Torah keeps the mind sharp. Reading the Torah makes you wiser. Reading the Torah actually makes you think more deeply than when you do not. So it is a panacea for the mind. The Torah itself is medicine for the mind. If you want your mind to function powerfully, you read the Torah, read the scriptures. In fact, the whole scripture, when you read the whole scripture from Bereshit to Hazon, Genesis to Revelation, that is a mine of wisdom. That is a mine of knowledge. It's a mine of understanding. And that works on your mind, that works on your brain, that tickles the cells of your brain to think even much deeper in the things of life. And so when you meditate upon the scriptures, I'm telling you, even in all other fields, you become more sharp than what you would be without reading the Torah. I actually urge the students, if they want to be successful, they must make it a habit, especially to read the Torah. Read it and understand it. When you have it in your mind, when it runs in your blood, in your DNA, I'm telling you, you can see the difference in your life. This is practical. This brings healing to the soul. You know, when you do that, when the soul is healed spiritually, it also means that even physically, you can be healed. The Torah is happiness. Proverbs 29 verse 18. Where there is no vision, people perish, but he that keepeth the Torah, happy is he. We've read that verse before. It's another characteristic of the Torah. Oh, the Torah is healing. Right? Psalms 119, 153. Consider mine affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy Torah. So what the psalmist is essentially saying is that when you don't forget the Torah, you know, it goes along with the prayer. The prayer of one who abandons the Torah is an abomination. So the answering of the of one's prayers is dependent upon your dependence on the Torah. Right? So when you are deep in the Torah, you can go to your father and cry out for him to deliver you, claiming the promises from the Torah. And that brings healing. It is a blessing. 119 verse 1, blessed are the undefiled, or barakah are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. So when you walk in the Torah of Yahweh, indeed it's a barakah, it's a blessing. Right. We saw that the Torah should be written in our hearts. We've read those verses. We have to remember the Torah. We have to remember the Torah. There is a call out in the scriptures that the Torah must be remembered, and especially at this time of the end. Malachi chapter 4. I think we should have read that passage, the whole of it. The whole of it. Malachi chapter 4. It's a very powerful passage that calls us to remember the Torah. Let me start from verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So total extermination of those, of the wicked ones. Right? Yah says there is a day that is coming in the future, and this is what is going to happen to them. They shall burn, and no stubble shall remain. But unto you that fear my name, Alala Uya, shall the sun, S-U-N, of righteousness arise with the healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as cows of the stall. Hey, when I start imagining the cows, you know, growing up looking after animals, when they are cows, you know, taking them back home in the field. You see them jumping around, running all over the place, excited. Especially when the sun is setting, and those animals, they are so happy, carefree, and Yahweh is likening to the redeemed as like that. Right. And you shall tread down the wicked, for there shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith Yahweh of hosts. So sin has been destroyed, right? And the wicked have been burnt with his fire. But the righteous, they will live in the fire, because they have been made to become what? Fireproof, because they are made of the material of the fire itself. Read Isaiah chapter 33. You will get this, what I'm saying. So now, because you have been made fireproof, you are going to exist in the fire. Because you are made of the nature of the fire, you are going to live in the fire. But the wicked shall be burnt to stubble. Right. And he says, when they are burnt, then you are going to walk across the earth. Right. And as you walk across the earth, you are actually treading upon their ashes. Then I like verse 4. It says, remember ye the Torah of Moshe, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Yashra'ah, with the statutes and the judgments. So what is being brought to the fore at the end of time is the Torah of Moshe, with the statutes and the judgments. And we are going to see that the statutes are they that reinforce the commandments. Without the statutes, there is no explanation of the commandment. And the statutes are the guide of everyday life and worship. So if you do away with the statutes that are being called back into the worship by Yahweh right at the end of the time. Hey, beloved, the time is very telling. It's right at the end. And the Torah of Moshe is being called to be remembered, just like the Sabbath is being called to be remembered. So the Torah itself is being called to be remembered right at the end of the time. We must think again if we want to do away with the Torah, because the testimony of the Scripture does not support that. The testimony of the Scripture says this Torah must be restored amongst the people that are Yahweh's people. The Torah has to be remembered. The Torah has to be kept forever. Psalms 119 verse 43, and take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth. I've hoped in thy judgments. 44, so shall I keep thy Torah continually forever and ever, and I walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. I will speak of thy testimonies also before kings, and will not be ashamed, and I will delight myself in thy commandments, which I have loved. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. When the Torah of Yahweh is in us, lots of things do happen to us. We become free. We become peaceful. The characteristics of the Torah are that it's a long-lasting, it's forever. We can't do away with it because we are Christians. But we need to come out of Christianity, a syncretic system of religion, and go into the way of truth. It is only the nation of Yahshua that is being served. There's no church denomination there. You don't find it in the scriptures. And going back to the nation of Yahshua requires us to start right at the beginning. When we start at the beginning, which is the Torah, then all worship right through will become correct. And we can live in harmony with our Maker and with one another, accepting the sacrifice that Yahweh gave to empower us to live that life. So trying to just live to the letter of the Torah, you end up becoming like the forefathers who tried to live to the letter of the Torah but could not, and especially when they denied the power, the life of the Torah, when they denied their king, their Messiah, they were left hopeless and helpless. So it is upon us today, those who are living, to have learned from the mistakes of the forefathers, so that now we do not only accept the Torah, but also accept the author of the Torah and worship the author of the Torah in the name of his son, Yahweh, the great, beautiful sacrifice Yahweh gave unto us, so that we may be imputed the life of Yahweh through his son, and that brings us to harmony with one another. May Abaya continue to make us see the truth as it is supposed to be. So there is going to be a restoration, or there is a restoration of true worship that is happening now, and I want you to join me in this. We are going to be looking at that restoration and looking at the structure of the Torah. Right. When we have done that, we then can now look at the commandments and their statutes. That's very key. I think that will be the last part of this series that I'm going to do, just to look at the commandments and their statutes. When we have done that, I'm sure everyone will be clearly understanding the position of the Torah in their worship. May we take a break for today, and then we may carry on tomorrow. We've done, is it 3 or 4 parts in a sitting? So we are going to do the rest of the parts when we get the next opportunity, when Yah grants us that opportunity. May Abaya Barakayu as you listen to what I have got to say and study with me the Torah. And it is my prayer that whosoever is going to listen to this, may they have something out of this discussion that will propel them unto righteousness. Alala Uyao.